whenever I come to this kind of forum, I actually decide either I would speak something which is not security, or if I want to talk about security, I will talk something which nobody has spoken, uh, or, or something which is very different. It's not that what day to day we do, or what normally the agenda of most conferences. So I just try to be a little different. The reason is that I also don't get time. I mean, like most of the CISOs, we don't get time to brush ourselves or brush up ourselves or uh, understand new things, understand the theories behind so many things. So I thought that I would talk something which is little different, maybe little psychological flavor of it, but I'll talk something which all of you will relate to yourself. So I'll talk something about the conflict management. When I say conflict management, see, if you see, before I start, it's a small disclaimer that whatever I will be speaking and what kind of example I will be giving, these are all my industry perspective, and this is not something which is happening in my company, the company where I work. So if you look at the complexity in the cybersecurity, all what has been discussed in the last 2 days, we have been talking about vulnerabilities, we are talking about everyday malware. The malware today is not that malware which there is a signature. So every day we find malware which doesn't have a signature. Zero-day malware. We have supply chain problem, we have ransomware problem, phishing, regulatory compliance, ever-evolving regulatory compliance. We have so many other things. I mean, things every day. That is why sometimes it becomes very challenging for people to. So while there are challenges, operational challenges of security, where every day you face so many challenges in terms of how to prevent, how to protect your organizations. At the same time, there are a lot of business expectations, like there is every day you feel that there is an expectation mismatch. We talk of strategic alignment, we talk of workforce constraints, we talk of return on investment, skill, global standard, securing infra. Just so many challenges, so many business expectations which would come every day. In fact, people are talking about whether CISOs are prepared to take the privacy role or not. I was thinking that if the same question people would be asking me, I would say that is there any alternative? So there is no alternative, because there are so many things which comes to CISO, and CISO is bound to take up that kind of responsibility. Now, if you balance the cybersecurity threat to the stakeholder expectations, what you would get is only trade-off and conflicts. So what all of us would be doing on a daily basis is managing trade-off. I'm sure you would all agree that managing trade-off is the biggest thing, and whoever manages trade-off brilliantly is actually the winner in today's world. Now coming to typical scenarios, let me give you a couple of scenarios. Like if you look at the business, truly business, they would always say you that I need this to be rolled out in 1 week's time, come what may. You do whatever you like, please make sure that it is rolled out in 1 week's time. Your IT team says that security is already there. For them, security is a product. They will say that security is already there, so it can be rolled out. Regulators will say, regulators has always, I mean, they will say that you should make sure that security is taken care of. You should make sure that user has no inconvenience. So they can say so many things because there is no competition to a regulator. So they can afford to say so many things. Your human resource HR will tell that in spite of best effort, we are not able to hire people. There is a supply side constraint in the people. Board will always say that make sure whatever you do it efficiently and make sure that everything is secured. And your end user will always complain. They will always say that security is making our life hell. So I'll give you a small story in 10 seconds. Let's say the CIO has been engaging with the CEO for the last, let's say, 1 year for a very transformational initiative. And the CIO is too good that CIO is also talking to the CISO and telling that guy, look, I have been rolling out a transformational initiative, make sure that it is secured from the beginning. So the CISO, CIO and CRO, they are working together to roll out a transformational initiative, which is also reported to the let's say board, let's say regulator, that they are, so everything is kind of set. And CISO has given signed up, and before signing up, let's say 2 days or 3 days before rolling out that initiative, one young member of the CISO's team find a serious vulnerability in that applications. Somehow he was trying to do something and he found a serious vulnerability in that applications. Do you think CISO can afford to stop that rollout? CISO will not stop that rollout. CISO will allow that rollout, and that rollout will happen. When that rollout will happen, what would happen? And after say one week or so, that is an attack to that particular application. There is a problem in that particular application. Who will be blamed? CISO only will be blamed. So that blaming of CISO, I call it something called blame the victim syndrome. Every time CISO is the target for blame the victims. Many times when CISO is blamed, it is actually CISO is the victim. CISO is targeted because of that. Let me tell you a couple of the expanse of conflict. If you talk about the conflict in cyber security, there are 3 types of conflict. One is, as Pant Sahab was telling about geopolitical things. So geopolitical alignment is now becoming very important in cyber security. All what we were thinking earlier, that there is the cyber war and the normal war, the difference between them is normal war is declared and cyber war is not declared. Today, if you see the normal war also even not declared. I mean, the war which is happening between Russia and Ukraine, I don't think there is a formal declaration of that war. So things are happening. I mean, that is affecting the cyber. I mean, you cannot call it a cyber war. You can call it cyber conflict. Economic interest. There are global technology standards which is coming up. That is one area of conflict. Another area is organization conflict, which I said, your resource, budget, authority, and all sort of thing. And there is another conflict, which is a personal conflict. That whether I should become a CRO, whether I should become a CEO, what is the career path for the CISOs, how do I manage it better, how do I increase my salary? So all sort of things are there. That is another conflict. So these are the 3 expanse of the conflict. Now, if I put conflict in cyber security per se, I will say that broadly there are 2 types of conflict. One is value conflict, another is operational conflict. When you say value conflict, I'll just tell you something which you might be thinking, I'll just try to theoretize it. So look at the value conflict. Domain itself has a lot of conflict. The cyber security as a domain has lots of conflict. The conflict like overemphasis of cyber security will lead to loss of privacy. It is a fact. If you overemphasize on cyber security, try to open every packet which is transmitting and try to find whatever inside, that is in conflict. Every time you are told that your business opportunity is lost because cyber security is taking time. Slower go to market, loss of competitive edge, innovations versus compliance. Every time that is there. Whenever there is a compliance requirement, there is always a narrative which goes that innovations is compliance actually is creating problem for the innovations. And then there are low technology absorption. So all of us have been talking AI for AI, or we should protect AI or not. Think about a situation when there is a broad, stringent guideline for uses of AI. Do you think that AI will get absorbed? Technology absorption will take a back seat. Employees are oversensitive. The moment you stop some controls here and there, employee will be sensitive. So these are all the value conflict in cyber security. The operational conflict is that I had said I'm just trying to theoretize it. Like complying with regulatory norms, technology options, the customer joining experience, business team taking exceptions. These are all very normal operational trade-off which you'll find every day. So broadly, there are 2 types of conflict which all of us face day in and day out. One is value conflict, which is intrinsic in the part of the domain, cybersecurity value conflict. Another is the operational conflict, which happens on a day-to-day basis. Now, if I go to the fundamentals of conflict, which so what these conflicts lead to? So there are two types of conflict. If you look at the theoretical base of conflict, one is cognitive conflict, another is affective conflict. What is cognitive conflict? So cognitive conflict is when there is an opinion difference. I mean, there is a project, there are two guys, and one person is saying that, look, I think that this can happen this way. Affective conflict, the same statement this guy will tell, hey, you don't know anything, I know better than you. That is an affective conflict. So cognitive conflict is opinion-based, affective conflict is emotion-based. Coming to the focus, cognitive conflict is task-oriented, whereas affective conflict is personal differences. I'm sure you are able to relate to yourself that personal differences will create issues, whereas task orientations, asking questions, these are all very good for the organizations. Coming to the outcomes, your cognitive conflict, they promote constructive discussions, whereas affective conflict is detrimental to the interest of the organizations. And more the higher level of cognitive conflict, it will produce a higher quality of decisions, while higher level of affective conflict will produce lower level of decisions. While I've been saying about cognitive conflict and affective conflict, which is all there in organizational behavior literature, to remember this easily, just remember two words, which is manbhed and matbhed. Cognitive conflict is nothing but matbhed, whereas affective conflict is nothing but manbhed. And matbhed, if it's not managed well, can result into manbhed. That is where the real talent, the real efficiency, the real efficiency of CISO becoming CRO, the ambition of CISO becoming CRO, CEO, all sort of thing comes if you are able to manage and convert a matbhed, don't allow a matbhed to be converted to a manbhed. Now, I just tried to give a framework of conflict. I'm sure nobody till today, I didn't find in any academic literature anybody trying to give a framework of conflict management for cybersecurity. So I thought I'll just try something which is a framework for managing conflict in cybersecurity. This is my last slide, madam. Sorry. So I said about cybersecurity goals, and this compete, avoid, collaborate, and accommodate. Like your shark like compete, turtle like avoidance, honeybees like collaborations, and accommodate, dolphin like accommodate. These are all part of the literature, which is, there is a model which you can Google and find it out, which is called Thomas Kilmann model. Thomas Kilmann is a great psychologist who gave a model for managing conflict. I have just taken from Thomas Kilmann and collated those things, where one is your desire to meet organizational needs, another is desire to meet personal needs. The more you do accommodations and collaborate, your organizational needs will increase. The more you know, avoid and compete, your the desire to personal needs, and you will not meet the organization's needs. So the last slides, and I think that I always try to complete within 15 minutes. The last slide is some thoughts, rather some random thoughts, is how to really make sure that you reduce conflict and don't allow a cognitive conflict to become an affective conflict. Just 5-6 things. Avoid bullying. Bullying as a characteristics is not good. It always promotes affective conflict. Second thing is, always it's very important from a cybersecurity perspective, because here is a place where to remain static in that place, you have to run perpetually. So skill is extremely important in cybersecurity. So promote skill, promote competence, promote interpersonal skills, domain knowledge. And alignment across all levels is extremely important. When I say alignment, just think about you. What alignment means? You should be aligned to your boss even if you don't like it. Your boss should be aligned to his boss or her boss, even if sometimes you don't like it. So alignment is very much required. Your people should get aligned to you. Alignment in an organization is very important. You cannot work in silos. Alignment is extremely important. Third thing is, you need to identify allies. You cannot really fight with technology or IT every time. You have to create allies in an organization so that they would support you in your endeavors. And you should have a habits of lizard listening. You should be an active listener. I mean, talking too much doesn't lead you anywhere. You need to be a listener. And and last thing is, play your elephant card whenever is required. Whenever is required, put your foot down and tell, I will not allow this thing to happen. Because I think this thing, if I allow this thing to happen, this organization is at risk. You should have that courage to put your foot in the ground and play your elephant card, but not play it very frequently. Thank you very much for your listening.